Hello and welcome into the Sporting Pod. Along with Emerson Burris, I'm Cole Pepper. Tony Allegretti has the day off. Coming up today on the pod, Parker Roberts can't lose, and neither seemingly can the Sporting JAX women. The men prepare to open the Florida rivalry with Miami FC, and it's cup set time as the U.S. Open Cup kicks off. We are fed by The Bearded Pig, locally owned and operated with the original location in San Marco. Make sure you swing by The Bearded Pig for great barbecue and great times. All right, Emerson with a snort. Okay, there we go. All right. But we have a lot to get into as we seem to now, when you have two teams playing at the same time, a lot to get to. Mm-hmm. I want to start with what was the game aside and the win in Fort Lauderdale for the women. The big moment was Parker Roberts, 6.5 months removed from ACL surgery, coming on and returning to the pitch in what was a wonderful moment and an amazing, I won't say end to, but next step to what has been a remarkable and unique career for a player who was chosen as the vice captain for Sporting JAX before the injury. And now here she is finally getting back on the pitch. I know you spent some time with Parker this week.
I did, yeah.
Think about this, though. 6.5 months. Maybe there have been faster recoveries, but I don't really know of any right off the top of my head.
Well, Stacey said this is the quickest she's ever seen.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago when Stacey was playing.
Right.
This is an injury that would have been a year and a half. Now, it started to get a little faster, but 6.5 months, really a testament to the way that Parker attacked this return to play.
Yeah, she's just been working so hard, and we spoke with Steve Fell and just about the recovery process, and Parker had nothing but amazing things to say about the athletic training staff, and she said, I wouldn't want to tear my ACL anywhere else because of the staff that we have. So just watching her at training each week work so hard to get back to where she was has been so inspiring and incredible.
The first time I met with Parker, she came in the early stages. She came into the office and was getting, I don't know if it was what it was, maybe meeting with Stacey or something, and meeting with Alan Kirkup, who had coached her as an assistant at Florida. And Alan said, "Oh yeah, Parker's in here." So, and
I think I was with you.
You might have been.
Yeah.
Because Parker grew up in the same part of the country
Kansas
that you and I
City.
did, on the Kansas side, in the Kansas City metro area. We had a lot to talk about there. She started her career at Kansas and then transferred to Florida, had a great career at UF, of course, and went on to become a professional. But one of the things that struck me right out of the gate about Parker is how connected to her emotions she is. So and I'm just going to say that is different, at least in the way that I am describing it, as a Midwestern middle-aged man who's not very connected to emotions. That is different than being emotional. She's and I mentioned that to Steve Fell, the head of performance for Sporting JAX, and he said that's her superpower. That's one of the reasons why she is so determined and so able to overcome difficult obstacles is because of how connected she is. And I think you probably got a little taste of that while you were talking to her.
Yeah, I asked her about that, and she said, well, I'm 28. I feel like a vet on this team, and over the past 28 years, and all of the things that I've been through in my career, stepping away from the game, now coming back, she's like, I have to be in tune with my emotions, and I've learned to deal with it, and I've learned that all of these emotions are valid, and it is okay to feel all of these. And so I took some of that, I'm not an athlete, but I'm in the sport, and so I even take some of that advice. It is okay to have stressful weeks and be low and then also have the highs. So, I mean, she's just so inspiring and it's so great to learn from her. And she did get emotional at the end of the interview. She's just so grateful for this program and for this team that have supported her along the way.
I mean, it's the way she speaks about her opportunity here in Jacksonville is everything you want in a player to root for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's not only a great soccer player, but she's just a great person. And like she said, she's a vet. I just look up to her as an older sister, not only learning stuff through the game and learning positions and stuff like that from her, but also just life advice. And it's just so fun to get to hang out with her.
All right, let's hear from Steve Fell, head of performance for Sporting JAX. I talked with him about her recovery, about Parker's whole recovery process, and how it all came together. Steve Fell, of course, in addition to being the head of performance for Sporting JAX, is also working with the U.S. men's national team. So you're talking about a guy who is at the top of his game, at the top of his industry. And I think that was part of what allowed this to happen. Parker gets the bulk of the credit, but Steve Fell and the rest of the performance staff, the training staff here at Sporting JAX, I think also deserve some kudos. But let's hear what Steve Fell had to say.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a couple things that have come together. Like a type of injury like that, like an ACL rehab, can go one of two ways. It can be super successful, or it can kind of linger and take a long time because of a number of factors. But the one thing that Parker has that's required to accelerate the process is the right mentality. It's very, very challenging to be as diligent and disciplined daily with something like that. Some days are very good, some days are more challenging, some days there's laughter, some days there's tears, but the idea of just kind of continuing to move things forward and adjust appropriately based off of the response to the previous day is something that she just took in stride. And I think the big thing for me that's the most impressive is, the mentality to just get up and not work through pain. That's not what we're about. But the understanding to that it's going to be a process that is up as hills and valleys. And to push performance, of course you have to respect certain timelines early on, but if you're checking boxes in a way that you're responding appropriately the next day, and mentally you were ready, then you're able to continue to progress this process, very quickly. And Parker's a great example of us, a great example of the process and what it can be for those that have the right approach.
All right, so approach is a big part of this. Mm-hmm. The manner of the injury probably is a part of this as well. Mm-hmm. And then also the team she had around her, working with us, together, kind of in a cohesive way, mm-hmm. Had to play a big part of this too.
Yeah, I think anytime that you're dealing with something like this, this type of condition, I'm a big believer that it's the individual that's partaking in the return to play process who deserves all the credit. This individual, Parker, for me is the model of how a process could be, and it's all her. She's the one that's done it. Now, I will say, for the high performance staff with Tabby Santiago, kind of leading the way with helping facilitate just the process. Of course you need that, but in the end, it comes down to the player. So, the hats go off to her as a high performance group within the Sporting JAX organization. We agree that we help facilitate, but in the end, it's the athlete that helps himself. So we're happy to be on that journey and help guide. And of course, we don't always get it right, but the thing about it is it's a two-way street, and the ability to be vulnerable and talk to the process on a daily is really, really important to help speed up this recovery process.
How rare is this speed of return to go, from where she was to playing professional games again in such a short time?
Yeah, I think I would say it's probably way faster than average. 6.5 months to be fully available for a match is good. And I think there's a lot of things that can play into that. Kind of the concurrent things that can go on with an ACL rehab and et cetera, but also the setbacks that can happen through an ACL rehab. I think one of the things that lacks in general within the ACL research world is that a lot of this stuff is done with general population where, unfortunately they access to daily, training sessions to, and with a full-time commitment to work on the condition is just not possible in a lot of situations. Fortunately, in a professional setting, we can keep everything in-house and we can hammer it 6 days a week in the right ways. And I think that certainly helps the process. But I would say, we set a target of March 1st of being, available. And, I think when people initially heard that, they were, a little bit, surprised that, we would recommend that. But if a process goes well, it's certainly capable. And, the work is not done. It's going to be an ongoing process for Parker, and she knows that. But in the end, it actually develops better training habits, for individuals. So I know she's expressed her gratitude for the process and having gone through it, and she feels that she's a much better player for it.
Steve, thanks.
You got it.
All right, that's Steve Fell, head of performance for Sporting JAX. Now let's look ahead in terms of, I think one of the most interesting things that comes now that Parker Roberts has returned to the Sporting JAX lineup, is how she will be used.
Mm-hmm.
I would suspect that she's not going to be forced into the starting lineup.
Sure.
You got to get some match fitness back.
Mm-hmm.
But, boy, what a luxury to have a player who can play center back, can play in that holding six if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Put another, if you're going to, protecting a lead late, sub off an attacker and put her in and change the formation a little bit. But how she's going to be utilized is going to be a very interesting story over the last 9 matches of the regular season.
It is going to be interesting, and that's one thing I asked her. I said, where do you think coach is going to work you in? She said, I don't care. I will literally play anywhere as long as I get those minutes on the field.
Yeah, it's something that really matters to her, and you love that. And listen, the way the women are playing, as we record this on Thursday morning in the Gemstone Media Studios, they're 6 points clear in the Gamebridge Super League. A draw last night between Dallas and Lexington, probably the best possible outcome for Sporting JAX. Those two teams are chasing Sporting in the in the table. But listen to this. Talk about the way that this team is playing right now, heading into the final stretch, this push to the playoffs. Since losing to Lexington on Halloween, the women have outscored the opponents 20-3.
Wow.
20-3.
That's incredible.
And 3 straight clean sheets for Caitlin Parks. Again, top goalkeeper in the league, top goal scorer in the league, top 3 assisters in the league.
We're on fire.
Ashland's tied for third in assists. So it is great. Sunday at Dallas, 4 p.m. That's a game you can see on Peacock. And if Sporting JAX wins that one, boy, you really like the chances moving forward. You will recall that the last time that the club went to the Cotton Bowl, they came away with a victory with a couple of unusual goals, but nonetheless a victory there. So this will be a very pivotal game for Sporting JAX and for the playoff race in the Gamebridge Super League. I want to remind you that season tickets are on sale now for the men's team. Some of the benefits of season ticket membership include first choice of seats when the stadium is built, the best price per game available, ticket exchange program, and an interest-free payment plan. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjax.com today. All right, the men went on the road, secured a point away at Rhode Island. Now they turn their attention to the first meeting with Miami FC on Wednesday at Hodges Stadium. Quick word on what we saw in Rhode Island. A lot of wind, first and foremost.
Yes, it looked chilly.
It was. High bounces off the artificial surface, which you expect. And I thought a very gritty performance. Gave away a bad goal to fall down 1-0, and then Rafferty Petter putting away the first goal in men's history. On a goal that had a lot of components, Mo Traore hit a long ball forward. Emil Jaskalainen with a little flick on header. It was tried to be cleared out by the Rhode Island defense. Jaskalainen got back to it, hit a blast of a shot that was saved, and Petter was right there to put it away. And you had a chance to speak with Rafferty Petter. You'll see some of this on Saturday's Sporting JAX report, and some amazing video of Petter as like a, 11 there?
Yeah. He was young. I have to find all these pictures and videos for the stories that I get to tell each week, and sometimes it's a little harder than others, but I went to Google Images, and I found a very old video from Facebook. So tune into the Sporting JAX report to see some great hair, too.
Amazing hair. He still has good hair.
Yeah.
But listen, Jade Pennick and Rafferty Petter, couple of English players, as the first goal scorers for the women and the men, respectively. That's something that no matter what happens for the rest of his career and life, he will always have that to take with him.
He will, and I also learned something fun, and I want to get your opinion on this as well. One thing I always ask them is their favorite food and favorite dessert, because when they're coming here, they don't know where to go for all these meals. I like to think that I can help them out. His favorite dessert is pancakes.
That's not a dessert.
No, it's
That's
a breakfast food. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's what I told him. His favorite food is sushi, so I gave him a couple of recommendations.
Which is,
for
I think,
sushi.
probably 1 or 2 on your list.
Yes, it's definitely number 1.
Yeah. So we got some good sushi places around town and others. That's always a big thing. I will also just say on the men's side, we had, if you go back, I will recommend to you to listen to the interview I did on Tuesday night with Jordan Rossiter, the Liverpudlian. What a great conversation we had. He is, first of all, the accent's amazing, the Scouser accent, and just such an energetic guy.
Really?
Yeah, a great energy. I asked Liam Fox, the head coach, to give me 3 adjectives to describe Jordan, and he said enthusiasm, energy, and calm. And which sort of seemed like
contradicts itself.
But his point is that he's got a great positive energy and a vibe on the ball. Playing the game, he's very calm. Here's a guy who came up through the Liverpool youth system, despite the fact that he and his dad and grandfather were all Everton fans. Wound up and debuted professionally with Liverpool. I mean,
that's incredible.
What a thing.
Yeah.
And has played around. Played in the English League One, League Two, some Conference, League of Ireland. So played a lot of lower division soccer in England, but he is just enjoying his life experience right now. And I asked him about making the decision to move here to the United States, and he said, when else are you going to get this opportunity? It's a great chance. And so I'll go back. You can find that at 1010XL.com on demand. Go into the SoundCloud. If you have the SoundCloud app, you can find it. But really enjoyed that conversation. We also talked about the Beatles a little bit.
Really?
Oh, from Liverpool, right?
Okay,
and so this
cool.
This is the funny thing. I said, he's like, growing up, you knew about the Beatles, obviously, and his parents and grandparents and the whole bit, but you didn't realize how big it was.
So are the Beatles like today's Taylor Swift?
I cannot believe
I had to bring it up. I love Taylor. Come on.
The Beatles, I will say that in this regard, the Beatles are the biggest thing ever in popular music.
Okay.
And nothing is close.
Really?
Nothing.
Okay.
However, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert is probably the closest that we've seen to Beatlemania.
What is Beatlemania?
Beatlemania was an absolute fervor around this band over the course of about 7 years when the band was together. And everywhere they went, they were absolutely mobbed by fans and followers and everything else. They played here in Jacksonville, by the way, just days after Hurricane Dora in 1964. They played at the old Gator Bowl. And most people who were either at that concert or have or covered it said, the sound quality was awful, as a lot of those stadium concerts were back in the day. But the fact that they were there, and this is the impact of the Beatles. And I don't want to go too far afield here, but I had this conversation with Jordan that my mom saw the Beatles play at Municipal Stadium in Kansas City.
Okay.
We were in a shop in Avondale, and the woman who runs the shop there also was at that concert in Kansas.
Way.
So here we are. I mean, talk about a connection through the years that they were both there for an unforgettable moment. If you go to a lot of concerts, you probably will forget 1 or 2 here and there, or have to be reminded about them. And Taylor Swift, I'm going to go ahead and give credit where credit is due. Is probably going to be in the same ballpark for folks of a certain age, that this will be one of those seminal moments in their lives where they were at Have you been to a Taylor Swift concert?
I have, but I did not get the chance to go to the Eras Tour, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
I saw her Speak Now tour in Kansas City.
All right. So
it was life-changing, though.
There you go. So, but again, because of the time in the 60s being so tumultuous, such a turning point in world history, quite frankly, the Beatles there is a real example of that. But again, here's Jordan Rossiter, who grew up, he could walk down Penny Lane. He could go by Strawberry Fields. All these things that they sang about. And so I told him, well, Jacksonville doesn't quite have the Beatles, but there is a great band from Jacksonville that is remembered, and that's Lynyrd Skynyrd, of course.
Oh, I was going to say that one lady that you told me about. Susan? Is that her name?
Oh, Susan Tedeschi?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Well, Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi. Derek's from Jacksonville, and they live here now. They are currently, sort of the current things, and they're great. Mm-hmm. But Skinner takes it to the next level, and he said, "Do I know them?" And I said, "You probably know the songs. You may not remember." So I told him a couple of songs. Oh, I think I've heard that one. And so on his drive home, he was listening to all of those. He goes, "Oh yeah, they're great." So now we've got George Rossiter, Skinner fan, which will help him fit right in with a lot of folks in Jacksonville.
And now we have a music podcast.
Welcome back to the Music Pod. All right, we'll move on to talk about soccer again. The point away for Sporting JAX, the first point in club history. Now we need to see the first 3 points, the first victory. And that comes up Wednesday night against Miami at Hodges Stadium. This is going to be a very different kind of game as well than they've experienced the first 2 weeks. When you play teams from the north, they're usually, because you build your team to be able to win at home. And so up north, where it's colder at the beginning of the end of the season, bigger, more direct, maybe a little more pragmatic in terms of defending shape. And Miami's not going to be that. They're going to be a whole different style. A lot of Argentinian influence for Miami FC, so we're going to see the ball played along the ground and a little more flair, I would think.
A little more flair. I'm ready for another home game as well.
Yep.
It'll be nice to play at home. Midweek game. Are we doing dollar beers?
Yeah.
Dollar beers.
Dollar beers.
Come out on Wednesday. So I'm excited. It'll be good.
All right. So that's it. That will be, if you can't make it out to the game, you can watch on CW17 or Golazo, CBS Golazo Network. I think it's just a single camera shoot on Golazo. So if you're in town, watch on CW17 if you can't make it. And you can get more on Sporting JAX with the Sporting JAX Report on TV, Saturday, 12:30 on NBC 12 this week. And you can listen to us on radio every Tuesday at 6. It's the Coaches Show on 1010XL with Liam Fox, Stacey Balaam, and a player joining me each and every week. All right, now let's get into the episode, or the part of the episode where Tony Allegretti would be getting the most excited right now, and that is U.S. Open Cup.
Let's talk about
underway. For the most part, it has gone to chalk with most of the amateur teams or lower division teams falling to USL Championship teams. There is a couple of League One teams lost. AV Alta fell to Valley 559.
Whoa.
Yeah, 1-0. And the upset of the round so far is the defending USL 2 champions, Vermont Green, who had one practice session together to put a team together, because this is a team that's comprised of high or college players playing in the summertime. Knocked off Portland Hearts of Pine 1-0 at home in front of a raucous, 2,500, 3,000 fans. Great scene there. But victories in the USL Championship from Rhode Island, Detroit City, Loudoun United, Indy 11, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, Phoenix Rising, Charleston Battery, Hartford Athletic, Louisville City, FC Tulsa, San Antonio, 6-0 for San Antonio.
Wow.
New Mexico United, Orange County, Sacramento Republic, and then we'll have today, Lexington SC will play their game. Pittsburgh Riverhounds will play next Wednesday. And also today, El Paso Locomotive will play their match. So it's a little different structure for the U.S. Open Cup this year because of trying to limit the size of the tournament with the World Cup in play. That's one of the reasons why Sporting JAX is not playing in this competition. It was based on last season's playoff teams in the USL Championship and USL League One. So next year, we'll be in the Cup.
We will.
It'll be something to see.
Did you see that history was made yesterday for the U.S. Open Cup? Youngest recorded goal scorer in modern history of the competition.
Oh, really?
14 years old.
For who?
I'm going to show you because I don't want to butcher the name. His name is Braden. This is his last name.
I'm going to say Kalanji. Who did he play for? Playing for... Oh.
The article is a bit confusing. They played Chattanooga.
All right, let's see here. So Chattanooga, Kalanji, Braden Kalanji scoring for Kalanji?
I guess. That's how I was reading it, too. It's a Georgia-based club.
I'm going to assume that the 14-year-old's dad put this team together. Okay. If that's what if that's the name of the team, Kalanji Pro Profile.
And And his name is Braden Kalanchi.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Either that or they didn't have a last name. Interesting.
And
I'm
they
looking
went
at the
with that.
video. He scored on a PK.
No. It bounced back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the PK
Okay, I was going to say
was
that.
saved.
I say the guy who. All right, we're going to watch this video in real time here. The guy who's taking the PK does not look 14 to me.
No.
So the PK saved. It bounces all the way out, and then it's a chip over the top. Okay, I can see that kid as a 14-year-old.
Very exciting.
Although, that's what a moment.
Pretty cool.
Goes and
14
kicks down
years
the
old.
corner flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are also a number of the matches, by the way, up north that were played indoors because of the conditions. So when you talk about, I don't want to be too political here, but if you want to talk about climate change, that's, it's not out of the realm of possibility to have cold weather in the upper Midwest and the Northeast this time of year.
I will say, growing up, my favorite thing was indoor soccer.
Well, that's how I first got
It was so
professionally.
fun.
Kansas
Yeah.
City Comets.
Yeah.
That was the thing. So we'll keep you posted on what's happening with regard to the U.S. Open Cup as it rolls around. All right. Shall we now get into... We didn't get Tony's pick for this week.
We can follow up.
Yeah. So we'll get Tony's pick when we can, but I can just say that from last week, I've done a terrible job of keeping up to date on this ahead of time in terms of...
Cole, I'm happy to help out.
Okay, I'm going to assign you to record the wins and losses.
I can do that because it always excites me.
Yeah, you love this, and let's see if we can get through all the pop-ups here on the current Premier League games. So last week, Tony picked Sunderland, and they fell to Brighton 1-0. So a loss for Tony drops him, keeps him at 46 points in the competition. I had Fulham, and Fulham a draw against Forest, so I get a point there. And Emerson had Brentford, also a draw.
Yeah.
So
Brentford
after
versus Wolves.
Yeah, after a stretch there, so 1 point for me, 1 point for Emerson, who is up now to 40 points rather.
Whoop, whoop.
So I take the lead here with 47 points. Tony with 46, Emerson with 40, as we're starting to come down to it in the Premier League. So let's look ahead to next week. Remember, in this competition, you can only select a team twice.
Mm-hmm.
So far in the competition, Emerson has selected Newcastle, Brighton, City, Palace, and Liverpool twice. And so your selection, ma'am.
My selection is Fulham at home over Burnley.
Okay.
And I don't think I've picked Fulham at all.
Let's see here. You have not picked Fulham at all.
Sweet.
I have picked Palace, Brighton, Chelsea, and Liverpool now twice. And I am going to go with... I am going to go with Aston Villa.
Okay.
Villa has West Ham at home. Sorry, Stacey Balaam.
I was just gonna say that.
I'm going to take Villa to win. And let me just double check. I think I've taken Villa one other time. Yes, I have. This will be my second time taking Villa, and we'll see how it all plays out next week. Okay. The one other thing I want to mention here is that if you are a parent of a young soccer player, U8 to U18, registrations are now open for the Sporting JAX Academy competitive leagues. I'm hearing huge numbers for signups.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think this is what we've talked about with the pathway to the pros and being able to create more opportunities and excitement. And I think we're seeing that right now. So if your child is a competitive soccer player who wants to get the opportunity to play in the Sporting JAX Academy system, you can sign up now. Go to sportingjaxacademy.com to get things signed up. And we're looking forward to big things in the upcoming year. The season starts in August and runs through May with the playoffs to follow. As we get toward June, we'll be talking about some of those competitive teams in the playoffs on our Youth Soccer Spotlight.
I was just going to say, maybe I'll head out to tryouts for my Youth Soccer Spotlight, too.
Yeah. We've got a lot to do. So that'll do it. Tony Breaks Format will not happen this week, other than he didn't show because he had other important things to do. So
we missed you, Tony.
We missed you, Tone. Back next week. So, for Emerson Burris, I'm Cole Pepper. Thanks so much for listening to The Sporting Pod.